Welcome back to another week of Friday Night Football. I'm Mitch Robertson. Tonight we've got some great matchups in the Big Northern, where undefeated Stillman Valley takes on undefeated Marengo. Divisions of the Big Northern, Marengo and Stillman Valley are still both the overall cream of the crop in this group. Tonight in Marengo, the 6th-ranked Indians were put to the test by the 3-0 Cardinals. Pick up the highlights. Tim Mailing throwing to tight end Jason Hansen, 15 yards. Ooh, that's got to hurt. But Hansen, no, he's okay. And on this rollout, Mailing back to Hansen again, picking up more positive yardage. Then Mailing, watch this. This could be the nicest pass of the night that we have. 30 yards, up top. Matt Dunker at the other end. Unfortunately, we don't have the final. No score from Marengo, but we do have them 14-0 in the third over Stillman Valley. Byron blows out Genoa Kingston 35-0 in that one. Winnebago, a win over Burlington Central. Andy Truesdale, 12 carries, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns. Hey, don't give leaving a second's thought. We've got so much more on the way, including highlights from 4 games in our Upstate Illini roundup and also our spotlight player. Stay with us.
Here with the story on that showdown, Jim.
You bet. It was a great game, Scott. You know, you could tell there was a lot on the line in this game because there wasn't a lot of fancy plays. They're playing it very conservative because both these guys want to come out with a title victory. All right, let's get right to it, everybody. The Big Northern White Conference title on the line tonight as 2 high-powered offenses collide. Stillman Valley has outscored their opponents 138 points on the season. Bago, 128. Winnebago looking to return to glory with a victory tonight. They haven't won a conference title since 1989. Let's go to the highlights and check it out. What happened early on, 7-0 in the third quarter, and Bago marching, but they cough up the football. Jeremy Fager is there to scoop it up, and Stillman gets the ball back. Bob Peterson drops back too high, though, for Jared Knoll, and Bago returns with the ball. On the rollout, the Indians slowly starting to move the ball, and they were looking to score, down by 7. This time the option keeper, the quarterback, takes it right by everybody and nearly takes it in for a touchdown, finally getting dragged down, and the Indians would look to score. They did, made the score 7-0, and then this was it to tie the game or go up by 2, and they don't get it, short of it, and that was the Indians' only score. The final score in this one, Bago goes on to lose. Stillman Valley is your conference champion by a final score of 13-6.
Yeah, I've had a chance to see Stillman Valley. They've got so many weapons, and of course, as we saw, they're really good defense tonight.
A great powerhouse year after year, Scott.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Jim.
You got it.
Our last stop tonight takes us back to Freeport.
And 1, look for those Cardinals to be ranked come Monday in the AP poll in Class 2A. They knock off Winnebago 13-6. That's Bago's only their 2nd loss of the year. Stillman gets Richmond Burton next week in a big one. Bago hosting Hampshire. All right, final home game of the year at Byron, barring, of course, a playoff game. But the Tigers would have to win this one for Alan Jones and his son, Brian, to get that playoff game. All right, Stubble Deuce in action. Brian Jones taking it down inside the 30. Then it's Brian Johnson. The pass to Jones at the goal line. Takes it in, takes a big shot. Kid's tough, like his old man. Sets up a TD by James Wallen. And Byron scoring early and often this one. Byron builds a 30-0 lead. Johnson here, a 40-yard pass to Jared Dial. Dial it up, kid. Gets behind the defense. Pulled down from behind. Byron cruises 30-0 late in the 4th quarter. You can bet they win it 36-zip. The final, the Tigers now 5-2 with a big game at Harvard next week. They can lock up a playoff spot in that one. Well, about 700 years ago, Marco Polo would not be denied.
8th-ranked Winnebago in a game that would most likely decide the White Division Championship. We go to the highlights from the House of Cards. 7-0 Stillman in the 4th. Scott Nichols in the middle makes it 7-6. Here going for 2 to take the lead on the road. No, they say Andy Truesdale's knee hit first. 7-6. Then Truesdale 4th and 10 late in the 4th. Going for it all. Stillman Valley takes over and they win the division 13-6. Your final. Down the road to Byron, where the Tigers hosting Oregon. No score in the 1st. James Wallen spins and in. 7-0 Byron. Tigers on the march again. Wallen in again. Spin.
In years past, Stillman Valley and Winnebago used to battle for the Mid-Northern title. Now it's the Big Northern, and they do not come any bigger than this one. Bago 5-1, ranked 8th in the state. Stillman 5-1, still waiting for that ranking. Bago, Scott Nicholas, the story here. He had over 100 yards for the Fighting Indians. Watch him take the rock. Eventually it pays off. The fake. Where you going? Sean catches up with him. That's our man Sean Anderson on the digital cam. Watching Andy Truesdale taking himself first down. Then Nicholas, touchdown, 2 yards out. Make it 7-6. Stillman Valley had the touchdown. That's Bago's first one, so they still have a 1-point lead. Stillman, by the big play, living by it all night long. Quarterback Bob Peterson, 47-yard scamper. Look at him go down the sidelines. In the paint, touchdown. Cards up 13-6, and that's all it would take for Stillman Valley to improve to 6-1. Look for those Cardinals to be ranked come Monday in the AP poll in Class 2A. They knock off Winnebago 13-6. That's Bago's only their second loss of the year. Stillman gets Richmond Burton next week in a big one. Bago hosting Hampshire. All right, final home game of the year at Byron, barring, of course, a playoff game. But the Tigers would have to win this one for Alan Jones.
Season. Their only loss was to unbeaten Marengo. It's been a few years since Stillman has been in the playoffs, and the guys are revved up.
Great excitement. You know, we haven't been in the playoffs for a couple of years, and these kids have worked very hard to get here, and they're excited about getting in and doing well.
Emotions are flying a lot, and we've been picking up each other. There's just been a great week of practice, and we're executing well, and we're ready to go Friday.
Also tomorrow night, Byron in action at Normal University. North Boone will host Moose Hart, and Lee Wynn plays at Morrison. And tomorrow night at 10, we'll have highlights and scores from those games.
Pound Miter saw 1-4
Edition of Friday Football Extra. We'll also preview Saturday's playoff games. The new playoff format in the
at our game of the week. Yeah, baby.
Football's second season kicks off tonight all over the state of Illinois, and the Stillman Valley Cardinals are right in the middle of the playoff party. The Big Northern White Conference champions begin their run for a state title by hosting Walter Lutheran in Class 2A. The Cardinals had their eye on the playoffs this year after missing out the last 2 seasons, and the big dance is just what Coach Joe Bloom expected.
I thought we'd be 8-1. I thought we had a chance of going 9-0. This is very exciting. You know, especially excited to see how well the kids have done, and they, you know, they're really excited about being in the playoffs, and we are too.
Even though the Cardinals missed the postseason the last 2 years, it's really no surprise they're here now. This team has 16 seniors on the 22-man varsity. That experience goes a long, long way.
We're really close, us 16 seniors. We all get along really good, and we always do stuff together, and I think that helps us a lot. We thought it was our year. We're waiting for it to happen. We got all of our seniors, and hope we can perform to our best this year and see how far we can make it in playoffs and stuff. And we're here, so we want to keep on going.
With the Friday Night Football Game of the Week preview, Troy Hirsch, 13 Sports.
And the Stillman Lutheran game, only the beginning of a postseason party here on Friday Night Football, also in 2A. We'll hit the road to Morrison, where the Lee Wynn Panthers try to come.
It is just a crazy night. It's got to be Halloween night here at Stillman Valley. Walter Lutheran and Stillman Valley going at it in Class 2A, as Coach Joe Bloom has Stillman Valley back in the playoffs for the first time since 1994. Let's check in on some of the action in this one tonight over here at Stillman Valley. There's Coach Bloom getting everything going. First quarter, Josh Glendenning coming up with a 7-yard touchdown run that gave Stillman Valley an 8-0 lead on a very windy night that was causing turnovers all night. And the Cardinal fans enjoying this one at all. Late in the first half, Walter Lutheran getting on the board. Pat Walters with an 8-yard touchdown run. The point after failed to make it 8-6 at the half. Third quarter, Bob Peterson with a 1-yard quarterback keeper, 15-6 Stillman. Fourth quarter, look at the wind, look at the scrambling there. Turnover, Walter Lutheran gets into business as 21-14 the final score.
We've had 8 turnovers for the year. I don't know. We haven't been, that's not characteristic of us. It sure hurt us.
Here we go! The good thing is, though, as you told your kids after the game, they hit, the defense got the job done. You got to put this behind you. Look ahead, you won the game.
Yeah, it's a win, and obviously, we can play better than what we did, and if we're going to go on, we have to, and, they understand that.
And joining us live right now is halfback Josh Glendenning. Josh, it wasn't a pretty win, but yet you guys got to think positive. You got the victory.
Yeah, it's a win. That's all we can say about that one.
Some butterflies, maybe?
Yeah, being the first time in playoffs for this whole team is, I guess we had the jitters, and we'll come back next week and we won't do it again.
I think you guys all have to agree this win builds a little character. It's something that you guys got to build on from here. Yeah. All right, well, good luck to Stillman Valley the rest of the way. Final score, once again, 21-14, a victory for the Stillman Valley Cardinals over Walther Lutheran. I'm Kim Lepak live at Stillman Valley. Now let's go back to Robert in the studio.
All right, thanks, Frankenstein. Nice job. I tell you what, 21-14, Stillman Valley wins it. They will be playing again next Saturday, moving on to round 2 of the playoffs, and of course, 23 will be your spot for all those highlights. Let's switch gears. Now, of course, this is Halloween, so you're going to see many unique things tonight, but this is the only high school football show where you are going to see Boylan highlights from their game at Bishop McNamara in Kankakee. 23 Sports is committed to bringing you highlights from every single local team in the playoffs, even if we have to drive all the way to Kankakee and send a video satellite back. This is Memorial Stadium in Kankakee. The Fighting Irish of Bishop McNamara, they're rated #1 in Class 5A. They were 8-1 Catholic League champs in the Chicago area. That's why power running. They have to settle for a field goal early on. That one blocked, but the Boylan Titans would then come back. Titans grind it out on the ground. Roy Sackmaster's got a good arm, but you always win by running the football. They set up the pass with the run. You saw the run. Here's the pass. Sackmaster to Josh Fagan. Look at Josh take it into the end zone. Boylan gets the extra point there on top. But here comes Bishop Mack. Coach Thumb knows you're going to have to play tough D against this team, and this team was just too tough. Watch the sweep. Quarterback rolling, finds his receiver in the paint. Touchdown, Bishop McNamara. They would roll on big tonight, knocking the Titans off. So Boylan closes the season with 3 straight losses in a 38-6 championship game for all of the 6 classes. So the Tigers had to play Road Warriors. 23 Sports made the trip with them. Football Frenzy cameras are there. 4th down, Byron ball after the fumble. Look at the pass. Deep punt. Touches the U-High player from Normal. Byron's right there to jump on. It's Matt Steele. Recovers for Byron. 2 plays later, Brian Johnson, the quarterback, finds Jason Kinney. Watch this camera work. All over the football. Jason in the corner of the paint. That's a touchdown. Byron is on top. The extra point good. 14-6 Tigers. 4th and long for the Pioneers. Pete Martin after the extra point, of course. We will go to that 4th and long for the Pioneers of Normal U-High. Tough traveling all the way down there, playing on the AstroTurf. This is the big play. 4th and 1. Nick Smith rolling. Under pressure. Throws. Picked off by the Titans. That's Johnson again, the QB. That kills the drive. Next play. Unfortunately for Byron, they get trapped in their own end zone. They get stuck with a safety. But Brian James for those Byron Tigers will rip off a big run, and Byron ripped off many big runs tonight like this one. This is Brian Jones, of course, Alan Jones' son. And the Byron Tigers come up with that big upset we were talking about earlier on. 20-8. Byron upsets Normal U-High down in Bloomington. That's a tough place to go, folks, driving all the way down there to get a victory. Byron got it with the win. They are moving on to round 2. So is Stillman Valley, and we'll have to just hold on tight to see who else is moving on after tomorrow's action. Okay, when we come back, there's all kinds of
to the air today to beat Sterling Newman in the Class 2A playoffs. Comets broke the ice first and in a big way. Brandon Musgrave explodes through the line, and nobody's going to catch the big guy. He races 80 yards to the end zone to give Newman an early 7-0 lead. Cardinals cut the margin to 1, though, and then took over on this nifty run by Jeremy Fager. He goes through and somersaults right across the goal line to give Stillman a 14-7 lead. Now for the play of the day. On 4th down, Stillman Valley goes up top. Bob Peterson hangs it, and Brian Graves grabs it. Is he in bounds, though? The referee says yes, he is, and that's the difference in the game as Stillman beats Newman 21-14.
We were real surprised how well we handled them, and we know they're a heck of a ball team, so we had to come out and play with our hearts. We did that and got the job done.
The next job at hand for the Bill Northern White Champs is to take care of Aledo. The Green Dragons won impressively today, and they will travel to Stillman Valley next weekend. Game time and date will be announced Monday.
In Class 3A, Byron hosting Canelan, but Coach Everett Stein's men were simply overmatched and undersized. Knights pretty much ran at will, piling up over 400 yards of total offense. That's Ryan West shedding Tiger tacklers on his way to a 9-yard score. When they went to the air, Canelan had the same results. This is a beautiful catch by Bill McCune. Knights improved to 11-0, winning 56-21. Byron finishes the year at 7-4. Single-A scoreboard, Galena Pirates keep rolling along. They thump Greenfield to stay unbeaten on the year, and the North Boone Vikings.
Peterson completion to Brian Graves on the nice gain here. The Cardinals' Josh Glendenning will fight his way into the end zone for the 2-yard touchdown on this next play. Stillman Valley goes on to win this one, 21-14, the final. That's in Class 2A. They play Aledo.
And Belvedere bowing out. That leaves the state line with 3 teams still standing in the playoffs, and they'll all be in action tomorrow. All 3 of these games are 1 o'clock starts. Stillman Valley gets the home field advantage for its matchup with Aledo. North Boone will make the long road trip to Galena to take on an unbeaten Galena squad. And Marengo also with a road trip heading to Spring Valley Hall. And we will have highlights of all 3 of those games tomorrow night on News Channel 17 at 6 and 10. There was more postseason excitement.
Spring values in America are going.
Illinois high school football playoff action continue today. There they are, the snowball in the valley. Cardinal players trying to keep warm against Aledo. Stillman's defense was the key in the first half. Down 7-0. They kept it from turning into a blowout by holding on 4th and goal 3 separate times. The defense also gave the offense several chances. Interception there by Stillman Valley's Sean Babcock. But the Cardinals could not move the ball. They started throwing. Jared Knoll gets it to the 3-yard line. Then Bob Peterson, the quarterback, hits Dana Voss. Aledo led 7-6. The point after was no good. We'll pick it up for you now as we go to the 4th quarter. Peterson and Knoll hooked up again. This one gave Stillman Valley a 12-7 lead. They go for the deuce. Peterson then hits Brian Graves for the 2-point conversion, and Stillman Valley led 14-7. Another goal line stand with 8:12 left in the game had the Cardinals thinking Final 4. Jeremy Fager right there breaks it up on 4th and goal. But back comes Aledo. Good reason these guys are undefeated going into this one. Top rank, a flea flicker, 42-yard touchdown, and we're tied at 14 all. And folks, we're going to overtime. Now in overtime in high school, each team gets the ball at the 10-yard line with 4 chances to score. All right, here we go. Stillman Valley gained only 1 yard on the first 3 downs, but on 4th goal from the 9, Peterson eluded the rush, found Knoll for a 20-14 Stillman Valley lead. Great catch. Aledo was stuffed by the Stillman Valley defense. On 4th and goal, the pass is incomplete. The final, Stillman Valley 20 and Aledo 14. A big win for the Cardinals.
It was a blast. Thought we was pretty close there at the end, but we finally stuck through and got the last catch there. It's just wild.
I was running, and then Jared just put his hands up, and I threw it up, and he went up and got it. Just excellent.
But we weren't open on it right away, and Bobby got chased out of the pocket. And, he just kept the play alive, and, eventually we got it. Jared made hell.
All right, in Class 1A, North Boone hit the road to play unbeaten Galena. I also hit the road, and let's take a look at it late in the first quarter.
Later and get the greatest deal of the year from Collier RV Center at South Alpine.
Up there and moved to scene.
When you consider that it was snowing, or there was snow on the ground, and it was cold, and the emotions, yeah, it was the best high school game I've ever seen. The weather outside was frightful, but Stillman Valley was just delightful. The Cardinals knocked off top-ranked Aledo this afternoon to advance to the Class 2A football semifinals for the first time in school history. Walking in a winter wonderland in Stillman Valley with 3 inches of snow on the ground and the wind chill at 7 degrees. Cardinals defense stoning Aledo cold all day. Watch number 23, Jeremy Fager, strip Travis Boswell to stop Aledo at the Stillman 5-yard line. Move to the second quarter, Dragons driving again. Sean Babcock picks off the batted ball to stop another drive. Cardinals had 4 goal line stands. On offense, they couldn't run, so they threw on the snowy day. Bob Peterson to Jared Knoll. Cards erase a 7-point deficit to go up 14-7. Coach Joe Bloom in his last year hoping to move to his first ever semifinals, but the Dragons still had a little magic left. Off the reverse, Dustin Litwiller to a wide open Todd Baldwin. Great call. It covers 42 yards, and Baldwin is safe at home. Game tied at 14, headed for overtime. Cardinals in 4th and 9 in OT. Bob Peterson flushed out of the pocket. Rolling, throws it up for grabs, and Noel grabs it behind the photographers over there. That's the game winner as the Cardinals advance 20-14.
We caught a play where one guy does a corner and the other guy does a bat flies back to the end zone, and our tight end, he fell down doing the out, so Gerald's last one. I was running, so I just threw it up, and he went up and got it. It was a great catch.
Everybody kept their heads up and keep on trying. If it wasn't for our defense, I don't know what we would have done. We played a heck of a good time. Can't believe we won.
Believe it, Jeremy, you're on your way to the 2A semifinals, and you and your defense will hit the road to try and stop St. Joseph's Ogden next. And that game will be next weekend. The Galena Pirates keep sailing along in the Class 1A playoffs after shipping out the North Boone Vikings today. Pirate fans sporting the war paint out in Galena. Offense fired away quickly. First quarter, Matt Corte picks his way through the Viking defense. Nice cut right there. 35-yard touchdown run puts Galena ahead 7-0 early on. Later in the first, it looks like the same play, but it's a different running back. That's Michael Cox who gets to the outside. He beats everyone down the sideline. This one covers 70 yards. Galena thumps North Boone 43-7 to move to the 1A semifinals for the second straight year. Coach Steve Koford and the Vikings finish a good season at 10-2. Next up for Galena, Arcola, who blanked Hardin Calhoun. That game will be at Galena next weekend. Class 3A, Marengo Indians jump past Spring Valley Hall 7-6 to advance to the semifinals for the second straight year. They get Caneland next weekend. Apparently we don't have that scoreboard, but the Caneland Knights eliminated Byron last week. We go to the college level now. And
golf. So in short time, America will have 2 aircraft carriers.
But under sunny skies this afternoon, the Cardinals have knocked off 3 straight playoff opponents to reach the Class 2A semifinals. With each win, they gain a little more momentum and more confidence.
Well, we knew we had a good team coming in, and we just played with our hearts the whole season, and that we got this far, and we hope to take it all the way.
The Stillman Valley Cardinals had a difficult task on their hands today, playing host to unbeaten Aledo. The Green Dragons came in as the #1 team in Class 2A, while the Cardinals were looking for the upset. First quarter, Green Dragons threatening. Travis Boswell takes the handoff, runs into a slew of Cardinals. Great defensive play by Stillman. Later in the first, Colin Conway again hands it off to Travis Boswell. He takes it in to score 6-0 Aledo. Joe Bloom's crew needs to get something going. They don't on this play. The Cardinals fumble the football. Number 79, Zach Harlan, recovers the football for Aledo. Things take a turn for the better when Conway's pass is deflected. It lands in Sean Babcock's hands. That would give the Cardinals some much-needed momentum. The fans have something to cheer about. And although the players had a hard time keeping warm, Stillman turned up the heat in the second half. The Cardinals will come back to win this one 20-14 in an overtime thriller. This is the furthest any Stillman football team has gone. They will play the winner of tonight's game between St. Joseph Ogden and Clifton Central next weekend. Meanwhile, in Class 1A, North Boone traveled to Galena to take on the 10-1 Pirates.
They've got a big tailback that, you know, he has 800 yards in 3 playoff games, so, you know, he can run the ball. We saw him last Saturday night. He had about 240 yards, about 28 carries, and he's a load. We got to make sure we don't overrun him and, you know, get some people on him.
No superstitions, just plain hard work has got the Cardinals where they are, and now they feel they're ready to take that final leap to the state championship game.
Well, we had the goal of going and winning the state championship, but now that we're here and beating Aledo, I feel, and I think the team feels, that we might as well go all the way when we're here. We're starting to. We got the jitterbugs out our first game and made some other penalties the second game and had some letdowns in the third game, but now we're ready to play one of our perfect games, so hopefully we can accomplish that.
13 WRX Sports will be at Saturday's game with highlights and post-game interviews on Saturday night's 10 p.m. Sports. Usually the West has been won by the
style for a long time. Everybody's seeing us now.
Local residents about all the excitement. He joins us now live. Bob. Steve and Jennifer, I'm here at the JNS East End Tap in Stillman Valley, and this is the place where a lot of the fans come to celebrate the team. There's not a whole lot of folks here right now tonight because, of course, the game is tomorrow. But I guarantee you, tomorrow night, there's going to be a lot of folks here celebrating, whether the team wins or loses, because they're really excited about this team and the season they've had. It's easy to find support for Stillman Valley's high school football team these days. All you have to do is follow the signs.
It's great. There's so much going on, and everybody's so excited, and it's a great year.
Dorothy's son Jeremiah is a senior kicker for the team, and that's just one of many reasons why she's enjoying the season so much.
And I'm really proud of the team. I couldn't be any prouder if they were all mine. Matter of fact, they are like they're all mine when they come in here every day, and I see them all the time, and it's just great to see them go.
Students were pretty pumped up at the high school today as well. Signs of support were everywhere, and expectations are running high.
Hopefully be state champions and bring home a nice big trophy.
The team's cheerleaders showed their support today by treating the football players to Subway sandwiches at lunch. Robin Douglas continues to cheer for the team, despite breaking her ankle earlier this year while practicing a routine.
It's really cool. I mean, this is the first time we've ever done it, and it's, you know, it's record. It's for our school, and it's really neat.
For head coach Joe Bloom, this is his final season as head coach of the team. He says he couldn't have asked for a better way to go out.
We got kids with a lot of heart. You know, we're not real big, but we are extremely quick and aggressive, and they play hard on every play.
Now, if you watch News Channel 17 tomorrow night at 6 to 10, you're going to be able to see Coach Bloom and some of those great plays, because our own Scott Lever is going to head down to cover the game, and he's going to come back with some of those highlights. So you can't beat high school football this time of the year. Back to you guys in the studio.
There, I hear some cheers behind you, Bob. Thanks, Bob. News Channel 17's Bob Ryder reporting live tonight.
Well, golf season may be a long way off now, but it was the topic of conversation at one.
First win at the Metro Center. I'll have highlights, and another big playoff Saturday awaits two state line football teams. A preview is coming up.
Johnny Bench.
This fall, S&K brings you Italy.
Again, one of those teams is Stillman Valley. The Cardinals will make the long trip to Champaign area to battle St. Joseph Ogden in a 2A semifinal game at 1:30.
They have a really good running back. I think the key to beating them is stopping their running back. He's a strong runner.
They're an I team with a big, fast tailback, and you know, they run the ball pretty well, and you know, certainly a very solid team, obviously, and you know, we have our hands full.
In Marengo, the Indians will host Canelan in a 3A semifinal game. The Indians put the finishing touches on their game plan for tomorrow's game this afternoon.
Trailed by 2 after 1. We go to the second quarter where he approached this game.
Done, and you know, they focus very well.
Already, I just hope we can go out and win. That's all. I just want to win, go down state.
Well, right now we're kind of looking at St. Joseph pretty much right now, and then whatever happens, you know, just look ahead after that.
That game's at 1:30 tomorrow. Kim Lee Peck will have complete highlights and post-game tomorrow night at 10.
Strong game. Sure wish him well.
Let's go Cards.
All right, great. Thanks, Robert. Thank you, Robert. Well, coming up now.
Say hey, game and the Stillman player this year. Tonight on News Channel 17. And the college football.
That's a nice play. But for
both the Stillman Valley and Marengo football teams have proven that they are among the state's elite. Today, both teams took the field in hopes of earning a state championship berth. We begin with Stillman Valley. The Cardinals were looking for their first ever spot in the title game. They traveled to St. Joseph Ogden to take on the Spartans. It's only 30 degrees, but these guys don't mind. They like the cold. First quarter, Stillman Valley's Sean Babcock will score on the 1-yard touchdown. That made it 8-0 Stillman. It was all downhill for the Cardinals after that. Stillman was intercepted 3 times. Here, Bob Peterson's pass is picked off by Ryan Jones. That would set up a Spartan touchdown. They led 12-8 at the half. In the third, Stillman was outscored 20-0 on 2 big touchdown passes by Michael Bencho. The first, the 31-yarder to Corey Deutschman. Great catch. Woo! Nice. He had 1 foot in bounds, 1 out of bounds. The touchdown is good. Then it's a 43-yard touchdown pass. Benzo to Dirk Doring. makes the catch, takes it all the way into the end zone for the score. That made it 25-8 Spartans. They roll over Stillman Valley today, 39-14 the final. The Cardinals finish a great season at 11-2. Hats off to Coach Joe Bloom on a great career. Today was his final game as a high school coach. We move to Class 3A where Marengo.
Schultz coming up with a 9-yard touchdown pass. Your final score, Michigan State over Winland.
Fantastic for all the local teams. We give them a congratulations even though they don't go out on top. The worst part about the football playoffs is that only one team can go out a winner, and unfortunately for the Stillman Valley Cardinals, they won't be that one team. Cardinals took it on the chin, the chest, and everywhere else from St. Joseph Ogden today in the Class 2A semifinals. Game started out so well, too. First time they had the ball, Cards marched 79 yards, capped by Sean Babcock's short touchdown, and they were up 8-0. But before the Stillman faithful knew what hit them, everything went sour. On the next possession, Bob Peterson goes up top, and this is just a great play by Dirk Doring to pick it off. Spartans take over on their own 3-yard line. On the very next play, they go to their main man, Ryan Jones. He breaks a couple of tackles, and he is gone. 95 is the number on his back. 97 is the yards he covered on this touchdown to start the Spartans scoring splurge. Nothing went right for Stillman today. They turned the ball over 6 times, and Jones picks this fumble up for yet another touchdown. Spartans score 38 straight points, and in Coach Joe Bloom's last game, his Cardinals lose 38-14, bowing out just shy of the finals.
To know that we're only one step away, you know, from getting down to the finals, that was especially disappointing. But you know, sometimes it'll happen.
I think it was just hard because, you know, we wanted to do this for ourselves and for Coach Bloom, and you know, when you come this far, you know, we wanted to play on that turf so bad, and then one game away, that's the worst. That's the worst it can get.
Nonetheless, gentlemen, a great year. They finish 11-2. In Class 3A, the top-ranked Marengo Indians suffered the same fate as Stillman Valley. For the second straight year, Marengo fans watched their team get knocked out in the semifinals. Big plays killed the Indians tonight. First quarter, Ryan West fields the punt at the 42, and nobody in a red jersey can get a handle on him. This West young man outruns the entire defense to put Kalen ahead 14-7. Knights did pretty much whatever they wanted. Great pass here from Eric Delaney to Bill McEwen. Kalen pounds Marengo 41-7, and the Indians lose their grip on any hope of a state championship.
Kalen played an excellent ball game against us. We did not do some of the things that we've done to get to this point. You know, this was definitely not our best game of the year. When you get into the playoffs like this, you know, you can't stumble, and this was our first stumble of the year.
Unfortunately, a bad time for it. Elsewhere in the playoffs, Galena Pirates get by Arcola 30-6 to earn the school's first ever trip to the 1A finals. They'll play on Friday morning. The Blue Streaks of Woodstock advance to the 5A championship game. They play Rock Island on Saturday. In college football, top-ranked
Harvard. Now, don't go away. When we come back, I promise you we'll have our game of the week between Guilford and Hunter. 21 years as a head coach. This year, he retired after leading the Cardinals to the Big Northern Championship and the 2A state semifinals. Bloom will be inducted into the Hall of Fame this April. I'll have more on this ceremony later in sports, and I'll also have highlights from the Cardinals game. This is the ultimate dream. Joe Bloom served as a head football coach for 24 years, and during that time, he notched 127 victories between Jefferson and Stillman Valley high schools, and he earned induction to the Illinois Football Hall of Fame. Tonight, he thanked his players for their help.
I really thank all of them for the effort that they gave me over the years. You know, it's certainly appreciated, and you know, you really did a great job for me. Thank you very much.
In a packed gym at Stillman Valley High School, Coach Bloom received a plaque commemorating his upcoming induction this April. Bloom coached hundreds of kids as an assistant and head coach for 32 seasons, and his fondest memory came from Jefferson High School in 1977.
I think at Jefferson, you know, the year I got the All Sports Coach of the Year award, you know, it was the year after we didn't have any sports, and Jefferson was kind of going through some bad times there, and we got things going. That was certainly a very proud moment.
Over the span of 24 years, I don't think Coach Bloom changed from his first year to his last year. As he mentioned in his speech, his teams were very intense, hit hard, never gave up. That was the way he coached.
After that ceremony, the Cardinals football team cheered on the basketball squad against arch rival Byron. Cardinals open up the scoring. Mitch McCracken going strong off the window. He scored 11 to lead the Cards. For the Tigers, this is Brian Johnson looking down low for Ryan Dexter. You'll find him. Nice move by the junior for the lay-in. Cardinals tried to make the most of the special evening. John Withrow, long ball to Colin Grennan. The hoop and harm, but no luck. Tigers still ruined the night, winning 76-56. We'll have more basketball in just a moment, but first, as we told you on 13 News at 5, the Rockford Cubbies franchise has changed.
Scott's up next with sports.
And the Cubbies appear Dayton-bound after all.
Yes, the team has changed hands again. I'll have the latest development. Dan, it was a special night in Stillman Valley for one long-time state line coach. We'll take you there.
Unlimited access, the complete guide to
toughest rodeo and $400,000 Jack Daniels Pro Rodeo Series. Friday is WTVO News Channel 17 night. Buy one ticket, get one at half price with a Target or Subway coupon. Reserve your tickets now at the Metro Center or any ticket center. It's only February 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Metro Center. It'll be the kick of your life.
Here's our idea. Show us what's new in computer technology.
We're gathered here in Las Vegas to look at about 10,000 new products representing over 2,300 companies.
This is running off the K6, right?
AT-type form factor chassis.
K6 with a 3D accelerator. How many megahertz?
These guys are pretty sharp. You know all this stuff. Many of these products have never been seen before.
If you want to program on the fly, this is really cool.
Showing the next generation of computers to the next generation. Best Buy. Now that's a great idea.
Yeah.
How far will your gas dollar take you? Well, that depends where you spend it. At Clark, you'll get gas that's as good as any of the big guys, but you'll pay less for it. That way, you get more gas for your dollar, which means your money will take you farther. We call that more miles per dollar. Clark, great gas, great price.
Fond farewell to a very popular football coach.
That's right, a huge crowd out at Stillman tonight.
Yeah, and rightly so, because this guy deserves a little fond farewell. To many people in the state line, Joe Bloom is no ordinary Joe, and that was quite evident tonight at Stillman Valley. A large crowd turned out to honor retired football coach Joe Bloom. He recently stepped down as Stillman's head football coach after guiding the Cardinals for 3 seasons. That includes a state semifinal appearance last fall. Bloom also coached for 18 years at Jefferson, and tonight, many of his former players were on hand for the tribute.
We had some great times over the years, you know, not only the players, but, you know, a lot of my former coaches. And, you know, I really think the world of them. I thank them very much for getting down here for this night. You know, it's really nice.
Bloom will be inducted into the Illinois Coaches Hall of Fame in April. Now, after the tribute, it was basketball time between Stillman Valley and Byron, so let's pick up the action with the Tigers with the basketball, and they're looking inside for their big guy. That's Ryan Dexter, and Ryan drops it down. Cardinals come back on the attack. Adam Erickson gets the kind bounce to drop through there. More Cardinal offense here. Mitch McCracken, number 11, he is smooth. He floats it in off the glass. Tigers strike right back, though. Brian Johnson, 2 of his game-high 23. Byron down. Stillman final score 76-56. Other boys action. Peck wins over...
The deal, they win it by 379-76. Elsewhere, Rock Valley improves to 20-3 with a huge win at DuPage tonight. In women's hoops, NIU falls hard to DePaul, 89-80.